It was just revealed the other day that Sean Diddy Combs now faces 120 accusers with to do with misconduct allegations in a lawsuit. This unprecedented filing includes allegations from both men and women ranging in the age from 9 to 38, spanning 2 decades. And with this, I guess that there was this hotline where people could call, and they had said that there was over 3,000 people called this. There was 3,000 cases. There was a vetting process, and it came down to 120. So I just wonder, okay, so 120 had been selected out of like 3,000. I just imagine though, even the ones that aren't part of this lawsuit, there could still be a lot of truth there, fairly credible. But it gets even darker and darker and darker. And when there's one allegation there that I won't even get into the detail of from a 9-year-old boy, man, I mean, it's just horrific. And this guy Diddy, when you see this picture right here, to me, the eyes are a dead giveaway here. Just soulless, the eyes, Diddy should have probably stuck to wearing sunglasses, because when you see just his eyes, there's nothing much there. Like, absolute monster. Just evil. Evil. The devil. And, I mean, he for him to be able to cover this up for all these years, I mean, that was a hell of a job in itself, just to cover this up. And for all this stuff now to come out, we'd always heard rumors, stuff, and stories about Diddy being a bit of a dark, sketchy character, but I didn't realize how bad it was. I really didn't know quite how dark this shit was. And I don't know what the hell's going to happen next. I'm guessing, there's they'll be looking at him. Do they want him to rat? I'm guessing they do want him to rat. I don't think it's just a case that they want to get him in jail for life. If he has a lot of dirt on these, these big high profile celebrities and big, politicians, very powerful politicians. A lot of people might want him to rat, and with that though, I mean, you would suspect even if he does that, you still, you would still be looking at doing a fair amount of jail time. You're probably talking, 15 something years, right? Even if he was to stooge off on people. But one story, there's so many videos and stuff you get into with the whole thing with Diddy, but one thing I was wanting to get into was this story that came out, I think just the other day as well, about the actor Denzel Washington, who once screamed at Diddy at an all-night party in 2003. That he had reportedly got into a heated argument with Sean Diddy Combs following a night of partying back in 2003. A source revealed to Us Weekly that the Oscar winner, who's now 69, got into an argument with a disgraced rapper and resulted in him shouting, "You don't respect anyone," at the hip-hop mogul, who is currently awaiting trial on sex-trafficking charges. So they point out, though, that Denzel and his wife, Pauletta, had been partying until dawn. They saw something and that happened, and then they stormed out. But they do point out, though, that Denzel, Washington, and Diddy had been seen pictured together after that. At these like NBA All-Star games and stuff like that. There's later on down the line, there's pictures there. There's a picture there, Denzel Washington along with Diddy and Jay-Z. So they still, I guess maybe they did make up and they were cool afterwards. But, whether this story is true or not, I don't really know. I would say that it's possible that the story is true. But I definitely question why this story is coming out. No doubt this screams of a publicist, reaching out to their contacts, their connections, to push this story out there Mr. Denzel Washington, who seems to be quite fairly clean, never really had any of these allegations, issues and stuff in the past, happily married man for about 40 years now, I believe, with 4 kids. It seems like this is like a bit of a reputational protection type deal to make out like, well, Denzel Washington, he's not down with this stuff when it involves Diddy and the white parties and the freak-offs. He once stood up to Diddy and set him straight. Not saying that that didn't happen, from watching Denzel Washington do interviews, he doesn't seem to take crap lightly. It may have already been a case of Diddy, having a go at someone that was a friend of his or a close acquaintance, or and then he was like, no, that's it, I'm not having that. But down the line though, it didn't stop him from, for a guy who supposedly, he looked at Diddy as somebody who didn't respect other people. He still was pictured around him. And then there with Jay-Z. So I don't know. I mean, I say I don't know, but this is when I get into it as to why I think there's a theory out there about, this is why I think it's possible there's a reason there. It's more than just, reputational, making Denzel Washington look good, because right now, with all these celebrities that have been connected to Diddy, really they're just keeping their damn mouths zipped, You're not hearing anything from Jay-Z, you're not hearing anything from Usher, from Bieber, Kim Kardashian, etc., etc. No one's commented on Diddy. None of them. Radio silence. But this stuff can potentially get very dark with this stuff with Diddy, and it's very much a story for another day. But the thing with Denzel Washington, this idea that he's a squeaky clean guy, that, same, been with the same woman for 40 plus years, 4 kids, all seems nice, very nice on paper, but it's a dark world, Hollywood, right? And for him to be a big top leading man, one of the most, known as one of the best actors, thespians, and most successful actors in the game, you believe that you've probably, there's a lot of playing the game that goes on to get in that position, right? It can't always solely come down to your talent, right? And with this stuff with Denzel Washington, there is a story out there, and this is where I go to X, Twitter, as some people might still call it. There's a lady out there by the name of Ali Carter, who I believe has been posting, she's maybe got posts more on Instagram and on TikTok as well. And from this, there was a story about Ali Carter, saying about trafficking victim Ali Carter exposes Diddy freak-offs. And this gets where it gets really disturbing when there's children and there's animals involved. It can get quite graphic, and I'm not really going to get into all that stuff here. But I just wonder why all of a sudden this story about, supposedly Denzel Washington 21 years ago, had an altercation with Diddy, why all of a sudden that comes out. These things don't just come out of left field. The media know what they're doing when these stories get planted, and they spread throughout all the other media publications, and it becomes a big thing, and people get talking about it, and then it becomes, look at Denzel, he's a great guy, he's not like the others, he set Diddy straight. Not saying that that didn't happen, but it's how convenient, though, with everything that's been going on, right? And all the people connected to Diddy and hung around him. And you saw the photos there of Denzel Washington being around Diddy. To me, people must have known, right? They must have known exactly what Diddy was like. I mean, all these allegations, you can't really tell me they didn't know. And it gets pretty fucked up. I mean, some people can say, oh, well, Denzel Washington always leave a Diddy party 30 minutes before the devil gets there. But there again, picture it again, it's some big, A-list bash, I suspect. But it gets darker. Now, I'm a little bit unsure about this whole thing about Ali Carter. Some people might be a little bit more familiar about it than me. Some things are a little bit questionable with her story. I mean, there's some video out there where she's trying to say that she's the daughter of Tupac Shakur. I'm not so sure if I buy that. There's some stuff there about something that went on with Biden, possibly. I don't know. I mean, the Hunter guy's pretty sketchy too, and we've seen the stuff involving the laptop. Guess we gotta watch though. Can't talk about that too much on here. But when I click on this thing here, so there's this whole thing of stuff that happened, and she was there, and she's saying that she was born in 1994, and she's saying that this happened at Playboy Mansion after party around 2009 2010. And with this affidavit of truth, there's four people named in this. There's Birdman, Denzel Washington, Diddy, and Young Jock. Not too familiar with Young Jock. And she's talking about how she was R-worded by multiple stars around the world, and Denzel Washington was named. So this was pretty messed up. I mean, some pretty horrific stuff, but just with all the stuff out here, I'm kind of a bit of an old school believer of where there's smoke, there's fire. And if you're being there, you're all buddy buddy with Diddy. To me, you probably are kind of almost like you're cut from the same cloth, or like you decided to turn a blind eye. You know deep down what he's really like, but you turn a blind eye out of like fear of what you feel, because he's a dangerous man, not sure what he might do to you. He could find ways to harm your career. There's a lot of questionable stuff there, but Denzel Washington was named in this affidavit of truth, along with Diddy, along with Birdman, and this young jock. And there was an incident, there was a Playboy Mansion after party, and what it was, but these young people, they could have been girls that could have been around 15, 16, like the girl Ali Carter, and it was like they had these young teens were on a table, and it was called the party favor table. And when it got later at night, there was all this weird, freaky stuff happening about people having like one room that people go into where they say they would have sexual intercourse in blood, and there was other stuff going on. They said that it was going on that there was the young teens on the table, and these stars would just pick them off the table, like like a woman going into a fancy shop and buying a handbag. Just some weird, messed up stories. Like you read it all. It's pretty horrific. But Denzel Washington was named in that, and you'd think, gosh. I mean, a lot of people would say, oh, he's Mr. Squeaky Clean in Hollywood, Denzel, but you think if he's part of that, it's like, God, I mean, to a lot of people, and especially people, be in the black community, a lot of their memories and fond memories of watching Denzel Washington movies, all that stuff, it's going to be shattered if it's true, right? I mean, any fond memories I had of anything, Diddy music that he did, maybe related, like associated with Biggie and Usher and stuff like that, that's all gone. I mean, this guy is just like an absolute monster. Monster, monster, monster. But in some weird way, I mean, people probably do want him to rap. People want to find out who these other names are, if there's tapes there of these people, these celebrities, these politicians. It's some dark shit, and the rabbit hole can get deeper and deeper and deeper. And there's stories there about Birdman. I mean, Birdman's kind of like he's almost like Diddy in his way, isn't he? Because he was a big mogul, and he rapped as well though, but he was more like a mogul, and I believe he would have, I don't know, he would have been a producer as well. But then he had that thing of that relationship, that control over Lil Wayne. Kind of like maybe how what Diddy had over Usher and even Justin Bieber. That's a whole nother story too. That's pretty weird and disturbing. And you just hear so many of these stories about these guys, right? That are actually who could be secretly gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it seems to be like so many of them in like the rap game. And yeah. But this girl, Ali Carter, is maybe one to look up if you check her out on YouTube. But there is some things, I do question some parts of her story. Something that's quite horrific, and she said around 2009, 2010. I do question that a bit, because it's like, would you not remember something as horrible as that? Almost like the exact month you were there. Not even the month, but the date, the day, the time. And she's just sitting around 2009, 2010. So that's maybe a bit questionable. Unless this is something that happened quite frequently and it was the same type of people showing up, I don't know. But that's part of the story that I do question there, though, with this Ali Carter. When I was hearing something about her saying that she was the daughter of Tupac, I don't know. I just wasn't really fully buying that, but who knows? Because there's all this other stuff there about Diddy that's been out there. You know, she's been talking about this stuff since 2020, I believe, or 4 years ago, and that's all of a sudden Gene Deal came out at the same time. The former bodyguard, you had Jaguar Wright, who then said that Diddy, mentioned the whole stuff to do with sex trafficking. So, these people have been somewhat fairly consistent with their stories, but there is some things there that I do question with that girl Ali Carter on her story. But I mean, the thing is now, it's just like who's next? Who's going to be the next big celebrity to get exposed in this? Because I think, yeah, maybe some people will be shocked. I think what people are trying to say is the celebrities, people won't be shocked so much by the celebrity names of people that are on these tapes, that Diddy had people on tapes, had them recorded, but maybe more so the politicians. But who knows? We can do our digging, we can do our research. I think most of the people who look into these things have an idea. So when certain names get out there, maybe it'll just be like a one by one thing. It won't be like all the names just poof. Mainstream media reporting all these things now, like, oh, it all happened, it's all fact. But just one by one, though, you could see them going down. And but yeah, it's like a car crash, right? It's ugly, but we can't keep our eyes off of it. That's for sure. But that's my video for now, guys. You know what to do. Feel free to like, hit the subscribe button. Leave me a comment, though. Comment on this stuff. If you heard about the story about the girl Ali Carter, what happened to her, what she said happened to her. What's your thoughts there in Denzel Washington? Do you think he could have been caught up in nefarious things, and that's why he was pally with Jay-Z and Diddy? Let me know. Leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on that, guys. But that's me for now, guys. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye.